This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi. Today we bring you the top 5 most responsive cushion basketball shoes. Now, many of these manufacturers do use the same cushion in other applicable sports, so keep that in mind. If you guys haven't watched, we did do the top 5 most cushion basketball shoes, and the same thing applies there. And we'll have a top 5 kind of in between coming at you, so if you feel we missed something, stay tuned. Let's get right into it. Number 5 is going to be your Adidas Adi and or Adi Plus. Right now it doesn't seem like Adidas kind of knows which one they're using, and depending on what shoe you get, sometimes you really can feel it, sometimes you really can't. They say they use Adi Plus on the J-Wall line, the J-Wall 1 and the J-Wall 2, and both of those shoes felt like nothing was underfoot. I have the Damian Lillard 1 in hand. These actually feel amazing. I have heard good reports on the Crazy Quick 3, and there are a lot of NBA players still wearing that shoe. So I'd like to think that it's using the same kind of cushioning on this one, but I have not tried those. In addition, there is a mid-top of the Damian Lillard 2 out, and it's called by some different name, but uses the exact same tooling. These give you great court feel. They still have just enough cushion where your knees don't hurt, but these were very impressive to me. Now we can talk about the second one that came out, but that falls into the other top 5. One thing I wanted to point out there for all you guys who are interested, the Damian Lillard ones are now coming down to around $60, and the My Adidas ones are only around $90. So it is something where this is a really nice shoe. The only issues that most people have was there was some heel slippage, but overall, style, daily wear, and even on-court use were all really good, and again, for a great price. Number 4 is something you guys may not have expected, is Peak Dual Gradient. This cushioning always surprises me. Now, this shoe, you can kind of see the blue and red underneath, so you can physically see the cushioning here. This is the Tony Parker 1 or the TP1. They do have already TP2 and the TP3, and I think the 4 has already been previewed. The TP3 low coming out is something that caught my eye. They honestly haven't changed too much over the years as far as the cushioning and the upper, so I haven't really been enticed to buy another one. But I actually just played in these this week and was very impressed as far as you have great court feel. There's not too much cushioning underneath, but it's one of those, it absorbs it just right. I don't really feel any pain in my knees, my joints. So this one, that's always been impressive. They do have this same cushioning in the George Hill version, the GH3, 4, I don't know what number they're using. So Peak, if you guys haven't checked them out, really good quality shoe, and a lot of them are really done well for outdoors because the traction is firm enough, so something to keep in mind. Number 3 is your Nike Zoom. Now, this is an old school Hyperfuse, I think from 2 years ago. Very similar cushion setup to what the Kyrie 1 was, where it really is just a Phylon midsole with that Zoom Air stick in the forefoot. Now, if you watch our top 5 cushion basketball shoes, you may notice you had Zoom Max in there. That was number 3. And then also you have your Zoom Pods, which are in the LeBron 12 and 13, and that was number 4. But your standard Zoom, which is just kind of your meta badge, your smaller units, still give you great court feel. I wouldn't say they're as cushioned as the other Zoom setups, but they do a great job as far as giving that court feel and that slight bounce back. Now, something that I personally use, if you guys ever had any of the SB line, Nike SB includes a Zoom unit in the forefoot. So whenever you have a shoe, I would say the Nike KD Tray 5, or is it KD Tray 3, that one has a 4-foot Zoom unit, and you add this in there, it makes a world of difference if you are a bigger guy and you do need a little more impact protection. But as far as using the Zoom for a responsive setup, you can't beat Zoom. Tried and true, been around for 20 years. Obviously you would think that maybe Nike would have it higher on the list, but this is our number 3. Number 2 was a toss-up. There's 2 top cushions out there available in a variety of shoes, and really the setting point was for me was which one do I enjoy playing more, and that was a toss-up. Very close second is going to be your brand black Jetlon. Now this cushioning is available on the J Crossover 2, the J Crossover 2 Low, and the Force Vector. So there is quite a few shoes they have, as well as some running and training shoes. So this is a popular cushion setup that they are using. The biggest difference between this and Micro G, if you haven't tried either, this cushioning, you don't really feel much. But here's the point. It absorbs just enough, yet is still perfectly set up for that responsiveness. When you push off, you feel the ground, but it never hurts. So I really like this setup, and the only difference is going to be that energy return. I don't think Jetlon has much energy return. It absorbs it and you're able to keep going, whereas Micro G does have a slightly higher rubber content and gives you a slight better bounce back. But if you guys have not used Jetlon and you are looking for something that's very responsive, but it's going to be safer, you can use for 2-3 hour practices, these do a great job. As I have lost weight, these have felt better, and that gives you an idea on what kind of cushion you may need. If you are a bigger person and or you produce a lot of force, whether on your crossovers or your jumps, that's where cushion take effect. Number one, and we kind of cheated already, is Micro G. So one of my favorite Micro G setups is the Clutch Fit Drive 1. So they do have the Clutch Fit Drive 2, but that did switch over to Charge, and that will be in a separate 5. But you can still find Micro G in Under Armour's lineup. Unfortunately, they are kind of trying to phase it out. The biggest difference between this and Charge is Charge does have a little more impact protection, but then bottoms out, so it gives you that responsiveness. The reason I think this is a better responsiveness is because it actually does have some energy return. So this almost falls in the middle. I think the Charge kind of falls into the middle more, but for the number one most responsive shoe that does still have some energy return is going to be your Micro G setup from Under Armour. I'm a bigger guy, and I would say I'm between a 12 and a 13. The 12 still kind of hurt me, and for whatever reason, when I tried on the 13, and I do have another 12 and a half, they do change that setup based on the size, because those felt a ton better. So if you are a bigger guy, make sure to try on those sizes, because it does make a difference, not only in the fit, but also on the cushioning. So on this Clutch Fit, I do have to get a 12.5 or 13. Same thing with the Curry 1 and the Curry 2. Even though my true size is a 12, between the fit and the cushioning, I did have to go up. So for all the wide footers out there, keep that in mind. This is probably, in my ranking, the number one most responsive setup. All 5 of these do have really good qualities. I'm fortunate enough to be able to try all of them and give them a fair ranking. If you guys have any comments or questions, please let me know whether it's best going to fit your game. Generally, responsive setup is going to be for someone who does prefer court feel or is playing more of a guard setup. Now, our next top 5 coming out is going to be kind of your hybrid. You're cushioned and responsive, kind of in the middle. But the top 5 cushion ones I stand by. You guys have commented a lot and I appreciate it. As always, guys, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, shoot us your questions, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. This is Levi with Sneaker Gears. You guys have a good night.